The search is on for a new AD. Arkansas State versus Marshall. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And I swear, complete coincidence that it was the Monarch Money live ad when we did ODU Monarchs. I would tell you if I lined it up, I didn't. It worked out that way. I'm not sure if anybody noticed that in Wednesday's episode or not. All right, Coastal Carolina and Southern Miss with midweek wins. And then we'll look at Wednesday's midweek action if it's over by the time I'm done here. And early weekend preview, we'll continue to look at that. But, and I'm sure there'll be more. These two seem to be early in the process where we have a couple of AD openings. A friend of mine is looking to get into, not AD, not yet, but sports information director. All right, that kind of deal. Well, now is the time, right? In about a month or sooner, the season ends, right? Baseball, Memorial Day, if you're not playing past that and you're not in the softball College World Series, you're about done, all right? And even if you are playing out the string, I don't want to say it like that, but finishing up your spot, you could be moving on. And so the idea is that now is the time when these jobs are opening. And so Jeff Puritan left Arkansas State to take the Learfield executive job on the broadcasting end of things. And, oh boy, Christian Spears, that is juicy. I mean, if you're seeing the comments that are just on my stuff, meanwhile, what may or may not be on Marshall message boards, there's not a one or two reasons why he's leaving, and some of it's juicy. I'm certainly not going to perpetuate that here. You can go read it on yourself, but they were not on the same page. Let's just say that. So let's compare these two places, because Arkansas State came out, I think earlier in the week, or maybe late last week, when their new search firm is going to handle the duties. Okay. Marshall hasn't quite done that yet. Arkansas State was at least a week ahead of Marshall. All right. It took a week for Arkansas State to say anything. Marshall had that announcement like Monday night, or the rumors came out Monday night, and then the story came out it was released the next day. Again, I don't really have weekends, so I can't remember which day it came out. But the story was rumored, and then like a day later, Marshall released that Christian Spears would be, I don't know if relieved of his duties, but my father said it's not technically a firing, but if you're not renewing the contract, you're basically fired. Now, this could be mutually agreed upon. That's fine. And I think it's cool that he's sticking around. He's not up and leaving. He's got a contract for another year. So he's going to be there until 2026 if he wants to be. I would presume that everyone's going to have a new AD here by the time football season kicks off. I presume this does not take very long. All right. This is, you're going to want it. The people who want these jobs want them. And I'm sure there's plenty of people. And now you have in the premier group of five conference, and you see people say baseball, it's not group of five. It's about as major as it gets in baseball. I don't necessarily believe that, but it is what it is. And so you have two relatively successful programs now vying for an AD. It would be interesting to see if they got into a bidding war for somebody, but obviously the search firms are going to enjoy it because it's just going to up their guys' pay and maybe their commission. I don't know how that works. But let's think about it. Arkansas State really improved baseball-wise. The Butch Jones experiment has worked, and they got huge expectations for this year, right? They kind of want to be where Marshall is. They want to be playing for a Sun Belt championship. Basketball's had the two best years that it's had in forever, if not ever. 2024 and 25 season was the most wins ever for Arkansas State, and yet they still didn't live up to expectations, right? They were supposed to compete for a Sun Belt championship, and I guess they did, but they fell short. Either regular season, stop it with your finishing fourth, all right, stuff, and Sun Belt Conference tournament, right? Tied or not, they should have won it going away regular season, and they fell short in the Sun Belt championship game. Nonetheless, that doesn't change the fact that they had the most wins they've ever had. So they're in good shape. They've invested in football, they've invested in basketball, and now they've invested in baseball. And I think I'm not going to sit here and tell Arkansas State's going to win the baseball tournament, but they're going to knock somebody off or give somebody a loss that no one's expecting. Now, Marshall coming off a Sun Belt championship, football-wise, all right? Basketball had a late season run. A couple of years ago, they were really good in basketball. Fell off, I guess, the 23-24 season. It didn't quite rebound. That's why they got a new coach. The women's basketball coach ends up doing really well, ends up at Tennessee. So, I mean, and then the college team, the soccer team, played for a national championship, came up just short. So these two schools are in an outstanding spot. Not that you need to, we don't throw, I know I won't have to throw shade. I was going to say a school, but there's no reason to, that they need to be, catching shrapnel here. I will say, I did not realize this. Jonesboro is double the size of Huntington, West Virginia. West Virginia is 46,842. Jonesboro, not quite double. My understanding is that there would be no math. 80,500. All right. But I presume, and you guys can tell me differently, these are two prominent college towns, right? The college is the major employer, I presume, in both towns, right? The whole town is based on the college. We saw Arkansas State sell out their arena numerous times. They were averaging 5,000 a night for basketball games. They were doing fantastic. All right. And we know Marshall can draw in football and basketball. They were drawing really well. And they got there. Didn't mention this. They just finished their new stadium. So, I mean, Christian Spears, despite some issues that he may have on the way out, did a pretty good job over the last handful of years there in Huntington. So it'll be interesting to see, do they promote from within? Do they get somebody from the outside? And I know there was an overlap, I guess. You guys are great telling me. It's amazing how this works out, right? The new president at Marshall didn't hire Christian Spears, and Christian Spears didn't hire Charles Huff. Now both Charles Huff and Christian Spears are no longer at Marshall. That's why I'm saying you got to all be on the same page. And things that I would know, I'm going to throw my guy Nico Yanko out here. Not as a potential candidate, I guess, but sometimes you don't realize how good things are. And he's got a good thing going in Murray State. We talked about this. As a group of 5 school, he does not have any competition from a Power 5 school. Arkansas State deals with Arkansas all the time, right? Marshall deals with West Virginia all the time. They may have their own fan base, but they're dealing with that. Kind of like Troy and South Alabama deal with Auburn and Alabama. And of course, we know the Cajuns deal with LSU all the time. Texas State, same thing, right? They're surrounded. And App State is surrounded with Power 5 schools. So it'll be interesting to see. Sometimes you don't realize how good these opportunities are. And I think both of these opportunities are really good. They pay somewhere between probably $400,000 and $500,000. So it's going to be more than $1 million contract. close to $2 million contract. So we'll see what they do. It'll be interesting to see if they both go after the same person, because if you're getting a search firm to do it and they're going to tap which candidates are the best, you would think the search firms would land on the same candidate over and over again, right? Okay. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Again, is there plenty of people that Marshall thrown out there more than Arkansas State is, that I've seen. I haven't seen any names for the Arkansas State one as much as I've seen for Marshall. Yeah. So, okay. So it'll be interesting to see. And I'm going to say this job will be handled. Both these jobs will be filled right after July 4th. They're getting a head start of the other schools that are going to be looking for ADs. We'll see. I bet you. So that's 1, 2, we got, so I'll say 10 weeks, 11 weeks. This will be filled before Sunbelt Media Days. How about that? We'll do that before Sunbelt Media Days, which is what, the 4th week of July, like the 22nd and 23rd. Is that math right? 1, 2, 3. Yes, the 4th week of July. By the way, we're trying to figure out how to get down there. We'll see if that's feasible. I need to use my time appropriately. All right, let's take a time out. Let's look back at what happened on Tuesday, and then we'll see what's happening on Wednesday. And we'll start to look at the weekend preview and checking where we are with the RPI. It's amazing and how fast Southern Miss has gone from, I thought they were on the bubble, to now could they host. They got a lot of work to do for that, but is that out of the possibility? We'll be back right after I tell you about Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. What if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room? Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's check out what happened in the Sunbelt on Tuesday. All right, Wake did beat App State 3-2. That's a pretty good battle there by the Mountaineers, but all of a sudden, is that 6 in a row they've lost? They actually jumped out on top in the first. Wake scored single runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th, and App State got 1 in the 6th. Let's see if they do anything in the 8th and the 9th. Top of the 9th. No, they struck out the side, swinging. So they did nothing there. They really didn't do too much. No, they got 1 on and got him to 2nd in the 7th, but they didn't get anybody else on after that. So 3-2 Wake against App State. All right. Coastal Carolina with a win over UNC Greensboro, 8-2. Northwestern State beats ULM. That doesn't really matter, right? I mean, I guess it does for the RPI. We've been through that. ULM is looking to, be in the top 10 in the Sun Belt to get into the tournament. Arkansas State, they've won 5 in a row. They take down Little Rock 7-4. UTSA in a slugfest beats Texas State 18-13. Is there any way that lasted less than 4 hours? It did not. It lasted 4.5 hours. Oh. I mean, I wonder how long the first 3 innings lasted. Texas State jumped out to a 1-0 lead. UTSA puts 3 on the board in the second. It's 3-1, bottom of the second inning. Texas State puts 7 on the board to make it an 8-3 ball game. UTSA comes up with a 10 spot in the third. That makes it 13-8. Texas State with a 4 spot in the third. That makes it 13-12 after 3. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I don't want to see anyone's ERA after this one. Oh, goodness. Oh, Gunnar Brown, 8 earned runs for UTSA. No one all that hurt, except they didn't get a lot of outs for Texas State. Josh Glasser, 3 runs, inning and a third. Colby Diaz, 3 runs, 2/3 of an inning. Jackson Mayo, 3 runs, all earned, didn't retire a batter. Shane Connell, 4 runs, all earned, 1/3. Oh, not great. Matthew Tippy actually didn't give up any runs, and then Braylon Timmons gave up 3 runs in 2/3 innings. So some ERAs took a shellacking yesterday, or a couple of days ago, as the case may be. Holy cow. 18-13, and the first 3 innings, it was 13-12. Yeesh. Southern Miss with a win over New Orleans, 9-4, and Troy with a run rule victory over Jacksonville State, 12-2 in 7 innings. All right, so why don't we go over where we are heading into, we do have Sunbelt on Wednesday. Let's see where we are. It is 9:25 Eastern time. Let's see what has finished up. West Virginia and Marshall were playing, I think, in Charleston is what a fan told me. So a neutral site ball game. And how about Marshall coming away with the victory, 7-6? How about that? Marshall with a run in the bottom half of the 9th inning. A throwing error by the West Virginia third baseman, and Marshall comes home with the winning run. Again, for those who don't know, and I don't blame you if you don't, like West Virginia is like having a spectacular season. I don't know how much, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know how much West Virginia is known for baseball, but they're 15th RPI. And that may have been before they lost. They have not moved yet. Let me see if it's, let me update it here. They dropped to 13, or they dropped to 18. They dropped 3 spots. So they're 37-6, right? I mean, Texas has 38 wins. A couple other teams have 36 wins. West Virginia is next with 37. That's how good of season that they're having. So that's a nice win for the Marshall Thundering Herd. All right. Let's see where else we are. Georgia Southern at College of Charleston. So if we run out of time in this segment, we'll just do RPI in segment 3. Stats taking a little time. College of Charleston does take down Georgia Southern 8-3 in what does not look like to be much of a ball game. 5 spot in the 4th inning. The difference of the game made it a 6-1 College of Charleston lead. Georgia Southern only 4 base hits in the ball game. All these games taking much less time than, say, UTSA and Texas State. Mercer is at Georgia State. Panthers hosting Mercer. Georgia State trying to get that. They may be out of luck when it comes to the 3 seed, when it comes to a top 6 seed. And Mercer is on top of Georgia State, 8-4, top half of the 9th inning. Mercer with a 4-run 3rd inning, added 2 more in the 6th. They lead it 8-4. Georgia State actually out hitting Mercer 11-7. Ouch. And South Alabama hosting Nichols. Let's see what's coming up here. South Alabama leading 1-0, bottom half of the 6th inning. Obviously, that's, they started an hour later, if you will, with it being in Central Time. So that ball game still has a long way to go. All right, let's see where we are. All right, let's take a timeout. Ran out of time. We'll come back. We'll check out where the RPIs are heading into this weekend. They're going to change a little bit because you still got games going on. All right, so they may be a little bit different when we wake up in the morning. Nonetheless, I'm going to tell you about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account, wonder, where did all my money go? Way too often. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, bottles of bourbon, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop managing your money and start building your wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food, delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. As someone who just doesn't understand all the algorithms and everything like that, the ODU short caught fire today. On Wednesday, I can't remember the days. Ricky Ronnie was very generous with time, cut one of the clips. We talk about, as Charles Huff said, I don't have to worry about getting these guys' attention, right? We got Mississippi State and Jackson State. We don't play well, we're going to be 0-2, right? And Ricky Ronnie, they got Indiana, right, in a game that was set up way before Kurt Signetti got there. And so you don't have to worry about getting their attention. And he's like, yeah, that's a bunch of bunk. And again, I get, on those shorts in the middle of the day, I get, 200-300, maybe 4. And then it slides back with the numbers when they actually figure it out. This thing got up like to 26 and 2,700, sitting at like 2,200 right now. So April, as we just wrapped up April, is going to be the best month in the history of Locked On Sunbelt YouTube views. And I thank you. All right. It's amazing as we kind of found out who the fans are that are very passionate when it comes to it. So we have to play up a little Marshall and play up a little Southern Miss. They enjoy the back and forth. We'll put it that way. All right, let's check out the RPI coming into this. It's wrapping up on Wednesday, but coming into the weekend. And again, we'll preview more of this on Friday as well. So you have Coastal Carolina, which is 12th. They've actually moved up one. They got their win. They're 34-11. All right. So obviously they're playing for a hosting possibility, and I guess outside shot of a national seed. If Coastal Carolina runs the table and wins the regular season and wins the Sun Belt Conference tournament, they have a really good shot at that, because these teams may be playing each other. I don't know their schedules, but Florida State and Clemson and North Carolina, I don't know if they played each other yet. Alabama and Tennessee, not Oregon State. So we'll see. Ole Miss is in there. Florida is in there. You got all these teams that may be playing each other. So we'll see how much Coastal can go up. They're going to have to need some help to get up. Let's just see for what Warren Nolan projects end of the regular season. Remember, they're 34-11 predicted results. They're going to finish, interesting, 43-12. So that's one more loss, but their RPI is going to fall to 16, which puts them on the bubble for hosting. He's got them losing to Clemson. That ball game is next week. That's a huge ball game. Win that ball game, and you got a shot at a national seed. That's one of the teams sitting right there in front of you. There's not a whole lot on midweek ball games. There's a whole lot riding on that one. And it's a whole lot riding it for Coastal. And don't kid yourself, it's a whole lot riding it for Clemson because they're sitting in that same spot. Clemson is 7. Got to be top 8 to be a national seed. For those who don't know, national seed, when you're regional, you host a super regional. That's basically it. All right, let's check out what else we have. RPI-wise, remember I said when Southern Miss was 43 or 42, I said they're on the bubble, and now they're 31. So they absolutely have their work cut out for them to get to host. We're a long way from that. And so let me go over their schedule again here coming up. They have Arkansas State, and they get the Cajuns, and then they finish up at Troy. Again, tough to ask for a sweep, but that's the kind of position they've put themselves in. I guess they won't fall too far, taking 2 out of 3 from both those teams, but they're both at home. Yeah, they're both at home. So like a loss to Troy, maybe even 2 losses to Troy aren't going to hurt you that much. But if you take 2 out of 3 from Arkansas State and the Cajuns and you fall towards 39 or 40, lose 2 out of 3 at Troy, now you're right back to that bubble, what I think is a bubble situation. Now, we'll see. All right. It's tough to ask for a sweep. Arkansas State's got some great pitching. We'll see how they play in Hattiesburg. Are the Cajuns getting any hotter? I don't know. They seem to have a shot at sweeping Georgia Southern and couldn't come up with a big clutch hit on that Sunday. So I think that's a deal. Okay. That's where – and Troy. So we did Southern Miss. Troy has all – unfortunately – well, not unfortunately. They moved up. So that's one win that they got against Jacksonville State, and it moved them up 5 spots out of bubble territory. They're top 40. And they're 39th. All right. So we did it with Coastal. Let's do Southern Miss. 32 and 13. Predicted results. 39 and 15. So 2 more losses. RPI of 26. So they have them sweeping Arkansas State and the Cajuns and winning the first game against Troy and losing the next 2 ball games. Oddly enough, both 8-7. All right. So that's Southern Miss is finishing. Southern Miss is going to finish 26th. All right. Not quite hosting, but 2 seed. Right. Okay. Now Troy. Troy's sitting at 32 and 13. Predicted results. Got him at 39 and 17. Holy cow. All right. So they have him taking 2 out of 3 from South Alabama, losing to Alabama, beating Samford, taking 2 out of 3 from Arkansas State, and 2 out of 3 from Southern Miss. 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. And have them finishing, where did I put it here? RPI wise, having him finishing 41st. That's where I'm going to be sweating. Finish 41st. Can you imagine finishing 41st? You won't win the conference. You probably won't have won the conference. And you probably only have to win a couple of games in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. But boy, that's where I'm sweating bullets. Now, if you get to the semis of the Sun Belt Conference tournament, they're in. And they're probably in at 40, having won every single one of their series and beating Southern Miss 2 out of 3. I can't imagine them not getting in at that point. But I would rest much easier if I accomplished all that and I was 35, not 41. Out of curiosity, let's see where they have my guy, might collapse. And there's a bunch of other teams in here, right? Northeastern is 34th. And they've won. They are about as hot as any team in the country. I think only UConn has won more in a row. They've won 13 straight. They got them right now. They're 34th right now, RPI. They beat Harvard on Tuesday night. And I only bring this up, A, because he's my friend, and B, he's right there in the mix with Troy and Southern Miss. So predicted results, that he actually has them losing one more game to William and Mary on Friday, the 9th. So they would lose like twice over the last, let's see, that would March 22nd to May 17th, over 2 months. They'd have 2 losses. That's crazy. That's insane. So, and they had, what did I say? Did I say where they'd finish up? Predicted 33. So not moving too much, right where they are. And that's with 1 loss. 2 losses over 2 months. It's ridiculous. Anyways, but they're right in the mix there, right where Southern Miss and Troy are. So just happen to know the guy. And so I'm rooting for him as well, to be honest with you. All right. We will we'll do more previewing tomorrow. We do have a yacht rock concert we're planning to attend. It depends on the weather because it's outside, but it is Yacht Rock Review is coming here on Thursday night before the Kentucky Derby. It's very odd. Then we actually have an event on Friday, and then it's Derby Day. So we're going to be having a lot of fun this week. All the people that came to Beam today or on Wednesday, we're not here for the Derby. Very strange. I think that's going to end here as the week goes along. All right. Again, thank you for a record-setting month. It'd be one thing to do it in September, October, November, or December, but to do it in April, thank you guys. Really, really great. Oh, and we've had half the coaches so far in the Sun Belt, football-wise. We're going to get our 8th next week. All right, schedule. We'll put it out there. Tentatively scheduled. Tim Beck from Coastal Carolina is supposed to join us next week. If it's not next week, it'll be early the following week. All right. Thank you so much, and really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. I also believe this is the last weekend of Sunbelt softball. So, and I think he got a battle for first place. Like ULM is in a battle for first place. Is it with Texas State? I probably should know that. Let's see where we are here. Quickly. Yep, standings. Let's see here. Because I think they're hosting them. What I saw. Yeah, ULM is 14-7, and Texas State is 13-8. And I think ULM is hosting Texas State for the regular season Sun Belt Championship. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep that support up. We'll do a little yacht rock tomorrow night. We're looking forward to that. We'll see when we get the episode done for Friday's show. So thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sun Belt, your teams every day. Have a great Thursday, and we'll talk to you again on Friday.